Hi, guys. Welcome to another edition of Let's Chat Live. I am your host, Tanya Lightborn, and this is my guest, Gia Sands, who said to me that she isn't answering any hard questions unless she'll pull up her tarry. I don't feel comfortable answering those questions. Not in the Bahamas. Hi, Gia.
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
Welcome to Let's Chat Live.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I'm super happy you have carved out some time to spend with us, like our pillows here.
Of course.
We are super excited that you've decided to hang out with us.
Happy to be here.
And that you're going to tell us about Zaya
Yes.
and everything that comes along with her.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to start with you, though.
Okay. The pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. Not when you're on Let's Chat Live. It's a conversation. So, tell us a little bit about you.
About me.
Yes.
You want those 3 words or you want?
I think the 3 words at this point, I think might be too easy for you.
Well, I'll start with the
Because
3
you
words.
probably she's an attorney, everyone. So she, a transactional attorney at that. So she has already figured out what she's going to say.
The bare minimum.
Yeah, right? What would how would your parents
wow.
describe you?
At this stage in my life?
Yes.
Or back then?
Or just in general?
In general,
Yeah.
well, my nickname from when I was a baby, and it still is Gia Sunshine. And I call Zay, well, her middle name is Ray.
Okay.
So she's Zaya Ray of Sunshine. And
wow.
I think I just always had a very bubbly personality.
Yeah.
My mom would say that I would wake up in the crib and she wouldn't know that I was awake. And she'd come in and I'd be smiling and laughing and just happy.
Yeah.
So I've always been a happy child and a
Mhm.
happy adult. So I think they would say happy. I think they would say strong, loyal, very family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
I am very organized. I confident
Mm-hmm.
to an extent. I'm very laid back, but I can also be very OCD, very meticulous.
Mm-hmm. Aggressive?
When I drive, yes.
When you drive. So you have
Yes.
slight road rage.
Oh no, serious. There's no slight. I have serious road rage to the point where, like, if I voice note a friend while I'm driving, they know not to play it for anybody because plenty F-bombs, plenty horns. Like, it's bad.
What?
Yeah,
So needless to say, you don't do a lot of driving.
I do a lot of driving. It's bad. Like, I know that at some point, Zay is also going to have road rage. Like, she tells me, Mommy, put down your window and blow the horn at them. They're driving really badly. And I'm like, yes, they are, baby. They're driving really badly. It's just,
That's
but I get
all
it from my mom.
You
So
get it from your mom.
I come by it honestly.
I hope your mom watches this and sees that you said.
But it's true. I
Yeah.
come by it honestly. I know.
Okay. They say the first step is like,
Acceptance?
Yeah. Not denial. It's acceptance.
I can't
like you
deny
have
that.
to know.
Can't deny that.
Okay.
I know.
And tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
My family is very close.
Mm-hmm.
I have one sister. She's 4 years and 8 months older than I am, and I think that we have always been close.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we just think that it's normal and natural, but the older we get, we realize that there's so many people that don't have a very close relationship
Right.
with their siblings.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Amanda and Amina, my 2 best friends, my sister and my mom are my best friends. I mean,
Wow.
we share everything, the good, the bad. My mom's sister is also her best friend, and
Oh,
her
wow.
daughters are best friends. So
Mhm.
we've just always been very close.
Yeah. Sounds like a
Um,
lot of women in the family.
There are a lot.
Estrogen.
There are a lot of women in the family.
Yeah.
We love each other. When we all get together, it's fantastic. It's drama. It's arguments. It's perfect.
It's a
It's
party.
it's family. Yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly. We take it all and we love it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And tell us a little bit about Zaya. First of all, what does Zaya mean?
Zaya means virtuous woman in Tibetan.
Okay.
I had a names list for, years.
Yeah, because you're super organized.
Yeah, so I had names for girls, for boys,
Yeah.
and I think Zay was I was probably like 5 months pregnant, and I was talking to Tino about the names.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, her name's going to be Isabella Grace, because that's what I had chosen. And he was like, no, it's not. And I was like, but what do you mean? Like, yeah, it has to be.
Like, 'cause this is what
I've chosen.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't like the name. And I was gutted. Like
What?
I wanted to just dissolve in tears. Yeah, for my whole life, my daughter was going to be Isabella Grace. And I remember printing out my names list. We were laying in bed one night and I said, well, let's go through the list. And I was just, I mean, I like the names on the list, obviously, but I
Yeah.
just had my heart set
On Isabella
on
Grace.
Isabella Grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He probably thought like you thought you were in Elizabethan times.
probably.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just not a strong name. What does it mean? And I'm like, it doesn't have to mean anything. It's pretty. He's like, no, I want the name to mean something.
Oh.
So we went down the list
Mhm.
and he got to Zaya, which was obviously the last name on the list.
Yeah.
And he liked it. What does it mean? I'm like, I don't know what it means, but I'll Google it.
Yeah.
Found out what it meant.
Yeah.
And then he also liked Ray.
Okay.
And I didn't know until I had to Google it for him that
Yeah.
Ray is Grace in Scottish.
Ah.
So I still got.
So you still got something.
I still got the Grace.
Yeah.
But I tell him, it's like, I can't imagine her being Isabella Grace. Like she is a Zaya Ray.
For sure.
Yeah. Like there's no, I don't know what I was thinking.
Courageous, outspoken.
Loud, funny.
Mhm.
She is definitely brave.
Yeah.
Definitely outspoken. It's funny, she is very extroverted, but at times she can be shy.
Mhm.
But she warms up very quickly. Her face is just sunshine. Like it really is. She is just,
Wow.
she's a good mix between both of us.
Mhm.
Not looks wise. She looks like her daddy.
Oh, for sure.
But-
That's her twin. Like there's no.
They're
denying
twins.
That.
The
Yeah.
same face, like everything.
Yeah. With
Um,
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the personality is
It's
all
all
me.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stubbornness, the hard-headedness, she gets that from both of us.
Yeah.
But her personality is more like mine. Tino's a little bit more reserved, and Zay is in no way reserved.
No.
No.
What does he think about the fact that there's a little you walking around that looks like him?
He, funnily enough, has only recently started to see the resemblance between them.
What?
I know, it's crazy. Everybody from the moment she was born was
Yeah.
like, this is Tino's child. And
Yeah.
he just did not see it. I don't know how.
I don't know how.
Everybody else saw it, but he's
Yeah.
now just saying, oh, I see a resemblance. And I'm like, really? Like
A
4 years later?
resemblance?
This child is you.
She is his spitting image.
Yeah.
Tino. What's happening?
Get some glasses, dude. Like,
Yeah.
they're exact. But he, especially during COVID when we spent so much time together in lockdown,
Mhm.
he would chuckle because he's like, you have met your match. Like in a couple of years, this is going to be dicey for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that. I know that she's very headstrong and we're going to buck.
Yeah. She's not dicey with him.
Not as much.
She's a daddy's girl.
Yes, now more so she is. Before
Yeah.
it was mommy this, mommy that, and now it's,
Yeah.
daddy. Tino is good at disciplining her,
Mm-hmm.
but she also knows that she can go to daddy for certain things. And she smiles at him and he melts.
Oh.
And I'm like, see, that
What?
smile is not going to melt me all the time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So you're the disciplinarian.
Out of both of us, yes.
Yeah.
But he disciplines. He will discipline as well.
He does.
And I think when he disciplines, it has more of an effect on her.
Right.
I
It-
have to like shout and like lose my mind.
Yeah. And say things 3,000 times.
Oh, a million.
Yeah. And
With
he
him?
says, Zay,
Yeah, pretty much. It
go and
drives
do
me
what your mother
crazy.
said. Yeah. Yeah.
It drives me crazy, but yes, it is what it is.
I tell you.
These girls, you know.
I know very well.
That's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another story,
You
another
know.
day. We love our girls.
We do. And we want to raise strong, confident girls.
Yeah.
So we just,
So that's my next question. Like, how do you find it being possible to raise strong, confident girls in a society that says, do this, no, not like that, blah blah blah?
that is tricky. And I think, luckily, because Zay is so young,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say I'm not as focused on it,
Yeah.
but there are certain things that I will tell her now. Obviously, when she's older, she'll get more information.
Yeah.
So Tino and I always say, like, if we say, how was your day? And she'll tell me, and then if her dad asks, oh, well, let mommy tell you. And Tina's like, no, you need to tell your own story. You
Right.
need to use your voice. It was your day. You tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't tell it, somebody else is going to.
Yeah. So control the narrative.
Right. So, we're always just trying to reinforce these things to her. Like, if you want to say something, you say it.
Yeah.
And I also, I'm open to hearing her opinion, her thoughts, her ideas. And I want her to tell me that she's upset or that she's sad.
Yeah.
But I also need to balance that with, watch yourself, you can't be rude.
Yeah.
So there's a balance that I am trying to learn and strike. But we're learning this together. I am learning more of who she is and realizing that sometimes when she says things, she doesn't mean to be rude. She's just being
like
very matter of
herself.
fact. Yeah.
Yeah. Or being matter of fact.
Yeah.
And how does that different from your parents' parenting style?
I should say I am a firm believer in spanking. I was spanked every Thursday.
What?
Every single Thursday. Because my mom would say that by Wednesday night, I was just itching. Like,
to do something.
To just do something stupid. Like, I don't know, but every Thursday.
And were you the opposite of your sister? Like,
oh my God, my sister got spanked once. I think she was maybe 2.
Yeah.
But you could just say to my sister, Justine, stop it. Okay.
And that was
say,
it.
Gia, stop it. No, I'm still going to do it.
I'm going to jump off the chair.
Off the deep end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's I mean, we were completely different children. And my mom always says, with Just, the first one, she could, because she used to teach at COB, she would take Just to class and she would sit down quietly. She's like, I could never even dream of taking you to class.
You?
Yeah.
Rebelina.
Yeah. So my mom, I mean, both my parents were disciplinarians.
Yeah.
My mom was spanking all the time.
Yeah.
My dad would talk more, but I do remember that the few times that he would spank me, he would always speak to me afterwards and say, this is what happened. This is why I spanked you, and I love you.
Yeah.
My mom, she just spanking, and that's it.
Because you know what you did.
Exactly. So with Zay, I mean, I do spank. I haven't had to spank her a lot, and I try not to.
Right.
But if I do spank her, I speak to her afterwards so she understands, why it happened. But there are a lot of times when I just don't spank her. Sometimes just a little grip will be enough.
Right.
Just rein it in.
Slow down.
Or
pump your brakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you just sit down and think about it and then come back and let's talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to sit down. Go in the corner. Sit right there.
Yeah.
Don't move.
And her dad is big with that. He'll say, go in the bedroom, close the door. And she'll come to peek out. I said, close the door and go and sit down. But Daddy, I'm go and sit down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, whatever works. This thing
Do what
doesn't
works.
come with.
It's
yeah,
true.
It doesn't come with a rule book. Like
It's
not
true.
at all. When did you know you were ready to be a mom?
Oh, Jesus.
Because you're OCD, which means this was planned.
No.
Zay wasn't planned?
I was on the pill.
Oh, yes, you said that.
Zay was not planned.
Yeah.
I've always been very maternal. I
Always.
love children. I've been babysitting since I was maybe 11.
Yeah.
So I've always known that I've wanted children, but I don't think there was a time when I said, I'm ready to be a mom now.
Okay.
It just happened, and I'm glad that it happened the way that it did.
Yeah.
But it was just like, okay, well, I guess this is happening.
Yeah.
We had thoughts that we would wait for a year and then we'd start trying, and God had other plans, and it worked out, I guess, the way it was supposed to.
Wow. So during our conversation, we talked about second child syndrome. She has a whole thing.
Yes.
A whole theory on it.
I'm a second child. I've also heard that the first children are calm and reserved and respectful. And I mean, look at your daughter.
Yeah.
And then the second ones are just the wild children. They're loud. I think that's because they have to be, right? They have an older sibling, so they want to make sure that they're not lost.
Yeah.
And that
look
they're
at me.
heard. Right.
Pay attention.
They're not, when second kids are born, they don't have any time for themselves. My sister had 4.5 years to be the only child.
Right.
So, but I have been told a lot that Zay is like a second child. And because she's like me, I see that, I understand that, and I'm just worried that whenever number 2 comes, I will have 2 second children.
What? I thought you were gonna say when number 2 comes, she'll be like okay because she had her time to, to have all the attention.
No,
and...
I feel like Zay will be a big sister. Will be a good big sister, but I feel like whenever the second baby comes, the second baby is also going to fight for their time, their attention,
Yeah.
So I think I will have 2 second children. So pray for me.
Yeah, I will do that because listen, the second kids. And let me also clue you in on something. When you have the second one, it's like having 10 kids. It's like going from 0 to 100.
See, I've heard that. I've heard having a second kid is like, what the hell just happened? But having a third kid is like, I'm already used to this.
Yeah. So then it's like the second trimester, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like first trimester may or may not be that good. Second trimester, like you just coast in. Third trimester is like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. It's about to go down. Oh my goodness. So we also talked about. So Gia is a lawyer, an attorney. What is the right word? Is it an attorney?
We use it interchangeably.
Okay, that lawyer, attorney, a transactional one at that. So we talked prior to the session. We talked about what she would be doing if she didn't take that career path. Tell the people now.
I would be a chef. I would have my own Pilates studio called Rocksteady. I mean, the name is already...
Oh my goodness. Wow.
The name has been chosen for like ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, like we discussed, I admire people, especially women, who can just step away from their 9 to 5s and say, I am going to take this chance on myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not brave enough to do that. I hope that at some point in my life when I'm older, I will say, you know what? I've done this for so many years. We're financially stable. The kids are good. Let me now try this. Yeah. But at this stage in my life, I'm way too scared to do that. Like way too scared to do that.
To like step outside and say, I'm gonna quit my job.
Oh, there's no way. I'm too risk averse. There's no way. But I love to cook.
Right.
So, hopefully one of these days we'll see what happens.
Yeah. If you're hungry and you happen to know where Gia lives, always know that. Do you run a household where there's always food?
Yeah.
There's always something that can be heated.
Yes, and I get that from my mom. My mom, and she got it from her mom.
Right.
So I remember my mom saying, Gaga, my mom's mother.
Yeah. People
could drop by the house and she would be able to just appear with food.
What?
Yeah.
Even if she had to whip up something.
Yeah. And that's the same with my mom. If you stop, if 5 people stop by, if 10 people stop by my mom's house now, everybody will be fed.
Yeah, and not because it's the specific day of the week. No,
just because there's always something. Whether there's something in the freezer or she whips up something, like there's always something.
So going by Grammy is like
yeah, there's always something.
Wow. And so is that what you and your sister aspire to be? I know, like, at some point you become your mom, right?
That's a running joke in our family now. We tease my mom that she is like her mom.
Yeah. And
Tino teases me that I am like my mom. And I'm like, Jesus, already? But I can see it. Like, I know that there are parts of my mom that I'm already like her. Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister, not so much.
Yeah.
I think
more like your dad?
Yeah. She takes more after my dad. She's calm. She's collected. My mom and I are very irrational.
What?
Yes. Like, very irrational.
Wow.
Very quick to just pounce. Yeah. Speak first, think later type of people.
Right. I saw a meme online that said, I admire people who let me just be. Like, let me just have my 10 minutes of like, I need drama. 10 minutes of drama. I'm overreacting, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to check you in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just sometimes just need time to just vent. And then I'm fine, and then I can start again.
And you can come back and probably have a conversation.
Yes. Yeah. But in the heat of the moment, I just want to carry on like a crazy person. I know.
Right. But over the years, like, at some point you will realize I'm sure you have already, but like you'll just okay,
Yeah.
just dial it back.
Yes.
It's not that serious.
Right.
This isn't worth my energy.
No, and that's come with age.
Yeah.
You know, just understanding that sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and
you know?
you just have to
Yeah.
kind of meet people where they're at.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Like this doesn't deserve my energy, and I'm not going to get worked up for something that's not going to matter in 5 minutes.
Right. Yeah. If it won't matter in 5 years,
Then it
don't.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. So we talked about Zay. We talked about career. We talked about what you would do if you weren't an attorney.
Yes.
So, well, we also talked about your career and the path you chose leading up to that specific point. And we also discussed prior to the session. We discussed how you felt about, or at what point you decided that you would get married, and whether you felt like, okay, this was we took too long, or this was the point in time where we were supposed to get married. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I remember you saying that, listen, when I was younger, I thought I'd have 3 kids by the age of 25.
Yeah. But like younger, I think when I was maybe 13, I was like, oh, I'll be married with 3 kids by 25.
Yeah, like,
and I
what?
hit 25 and I was like, married? Kids? There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I got married. Obviously, I got married later than some.
Yeah.
I was 31 when I got married.
Which
But
is not late.
I
got
came out of
married
school.
at 37.
I came out of school at 27 or 28. You know, like I was in school forever, and I was in Canada and then London. So I find that, especially now with women who are in school longer or have different career paths, everything starts later in life.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's a
That's
choice
okay.
that you make. But no, I don't think I got married late. I think it was the right time. Everything happens for a reason, and everything happens when it's supposed to happen. And I'm glad that nothing was rushed, or, you know, because I think the repercussions of rushing would be detrimental. And maybe there are people who rush to get married and then, you know.
Yeah. And of course that segued into our conversation about just, I mean, I don't want to just narrow it down to Bahamians, but because we're in the Bahamas, like our conversation segued into people just putting unnecessary pressure on couples.
Yeah. For everything.
Gia is very passionate about that.
For everything. I can't stand it. I hate, and luckily my close family never did this to Tino. But you know, you go out and some people say, so when y'all getting married? When y'all next? And I get that people want to find out, but I think you say it and you don't know what's happening on the inside of that relationship.
Yeah.
You don't know if the lady has spoken to her boyfriend and said, look, like, I'm ready to get married. What's happening?
Yeah.
So she may be really upset about it. He may be far away from it. And that's just causing
like kaboom,
unnecessary drama. Every time you go to a family function, you leave in there mad because you know your girlfriend's going to be upset.
Yeah.
You know you're going to have that same argument.
Or you could have talked about it and decided, look, so this
we're
is when we're gonna do it. Yeah, and like you had a come to Jesus moment, and it's like, okay, well, this is when we're gonna do it. Meanwhile, everybody else is still asking.
Oh yeah.
Can you just not ask?
Bahamians can't help themselves, though. They actually cannot help themselves.
Yeah.
When are you getting married? When are you having kids? How come you only have one kid? It's too much. Like, just back up. It is too much.
Yeah. I think, and it's similar because I had a conversation earlier with a young lady who has been trying to have kids for 10 years. And
can you imagine being asked repeatedly, like, when are you having kids? That must be so hard for her.
Gut-wrenching. Like earlier you mentioned, okay, I already had names selected and I wanted this name and it was gut-wrenching. Imagine being like, that is really gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
And people are asking you like all the time, like,
I don't know how she deals with that because I mean, and maybe because it's been 10 years, she has a response or people are aware of what's happening.
She has an automated response,
But I would lose my you-know-what.
Yeah.
I think at some point I would lose it.
Yeah.
And I would make sure that those people never ask me that again.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know what people are going through. To say something that you may think is so innocent could really cause trauma to people who are having difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. Let's pivot a little bit because we also discussed like women who are like are career driven. But I think if nothing else, COVID showed us like we don't have to go to the meeting. We don't have to go into the office. We
Yeah.
can work from home. That email doesn't have to be answered if it's sent at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be answered at 5:25 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, how do you? What's your whole take on striking a balance for women who are or even have once been career oriented?
It's hard.
Mhm.
I mean, before I had Zay, I would take my laptop home every night. Sometimes I would turn it on, sometimes I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But after having her and going back to work,
Mm-hmm.
I would take my laptop home, but I made a point to not turn it on until after she was asleep.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I was like, you know what? I don't want to look at this anymore tonight. I'm not turning it on.
Yeah.
And I think that's also important. Like, it's important for your children to see that you have to work hard and you have to be disciplined, but they also need to know that they matter.
Yeah.
And I think this was pre-COVID. I remember working on the weekend and Zay came and just closed my laptop down.
Really?
And this was after she'd been saying, Mommy, come play, let's play. And I was like, okay, baby, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And she was very gentle, but she closed it. And I said, you know what?
That's it.
Check yourself.
Yeah.
Put my laptop
And how old
away.
was she?
Probably like I
Like
want to say
two-ish.
between 2 and 3-ish.
Yeah.
And I just closed it and I said, you know what? That's the only sign that I need. Like,
Yeah.
just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes she will say, oh, I'm so bored. Can you please stop working? You know,
Really?
and I mean, obviously her being the only child, she wants that.
Mhm.
But it's hard. It's hard to say, Zay, I really need like 20 more minutes and then I
Mhm.
promise I'm going to come. And she will keep on coming. Is it 20 minutes yet? Is it 20 minutes yet? And then you're
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let me just close my laptop, play with her,
Yeah.
and then
Because that'll pacify her.
exactly.
For a
We
period
do
of
we
time.
play for a while.
Mm-hmm.
She does something else, and then I can go back to work.
Yeah.
But it is hard because you obviously are committed to your job, and you're committed to your child,
Right.
and to your family. So it is a hard balance, and it's something that I think with COVID, well, for me, the work kind of slowed down for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the lockdown, I mean, every day we were doing different crafts. We were outside painting, sidewalk chalk. I mean, just it was a lot of just playtime with Zay.
Right.
And then work started to pick back up, and so she was kind of like, "Well, what's happening now?" So you had to
Right.
carve out work time
Yeah.
and Zay time.
Right.
But luckily for me, like, I still work from my parents' house, so I don't go into the office. I work from my parents' house, so I'm
Yeah.
able to leave home, go to my parents' house and work, and then by the time I come back home, I'm done with my work.
Yeah.
You know?
And so at times she can come with you.
Well, now she was virtual
Well,
forever. Jesus.
yeah.
She was virtual forever.
Thank you, Jesus, for
Oh,
deliverance.
oh my goodness. Virtual was rough. That's a
Yeah.
different story altogether.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
yeah, so she comes to my parents' house for like an hour or two from around 5:00, 5:30, because
Mhm.
Tino brings her after work. And then
Mhm.
we go home and she's good. So she has her time with her grandparents and then she has time with her parents.
Yeah. I that virtual
That virtual was hell.
that was a minute. Is there a moment or event that radically changed the way that you see parenthood besides labor and delivery?
I mean, that is
Yeah.
it. That radically,
Or somewhat changed it. It doesn't have to radically change.
I don't know if it radically changed it, but
Mhm.
I have been told and I realized that for somebody who has no patience, I
Mhm.
have a lot of patience when it comes to Zay. Like a lot.
Yeah.
To the point where my mom is always like, I'm amazed at the patience that you have with her.
Yeah.
And
'cause-
sometimes I think that I don't have enough, but then
Yeah.
other people are like, wow, you were really patient.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it radically changed it, but I also, I laugh at this all the time. Prior to having Zay,
Mm-hmm.
you go out to a restaurant, there'd be kids. I never minded the loudness or the crying because they're
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
But I remember silently being like, well, how is your kid sitting on the floor at a restaurant, you know? Or how is your kid sitting on the chair with their iPad with their feet up? And then I remember going to lunch with Amanda at Aquafire, I think Zay was maybe 2,
Mm-hmm.
and she did not want to sit in the high chair, my lap, Amanda's lap, nothing.
Yeah.
She wanted to sit on the floor in Aquafire. And I said, you know
Wow.
what? This is Mika's place. I know it's still the floor, but I know that she's not judging me. So I said, you know what? Just sit on the floor.
Shout out to Aquafire.
Yes. So she sat on the floor with her iPad, and we were able to sit down for like 2 hours and have an uninterrupted lunch.
I mean, technically, she could at home. Like, that's
Yeah.
where she sits.
Yeah.
So it's almost
And
like,
I love sitting on the floor still. It's very random, but like I still do it. So I think I remember that moment and being like, I
this is
get
where
it.
we're at.
I get it. Like
Yeah.
if you just want quiet, if you want to eat, have a drink,
Yeah.
and just not have to worry,
Yeah.
sit them on the floor. Yes, it was dirty. Did she die? No.
But did you die?
Took her home, had a bath. She's fine.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot of pre-children, what I thought or how I thought things should go, and then
Yeah.
it's like that's not the reality, and
No.
you just got to go with it.
Otherwise, you would have not had lunch
No, I would have left, and I would have been upset.
and miserable.
You
Yeah.
know,
That
so
this is all I wanted to do.
yeah, all I wanted to do was just
have
sit down
lunch.
and have some mojitos and just eat, and you know, I was able to do that with her on the ground.
Yeah, but you had your lunch and your mojitos.
Yeah,
And mojitos are necessary.
exactly. And she was quiet, so I was fine.
Yeah.
She came up for food every now and then. I'd give her a fry or a chicken tender, and she was good.
She came up for air.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty much.
I hope Zay isn't watching this. But by the time this is like, Mommy,
Pretty much.
look how you're talking about me. Oh my goodness. What has been your biggest takeaway from parenting to date?
Roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can plan and plan and plan, and
Mhm.
it doesn't always work.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible. You have to be open.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give yourself grace,
For sure.
and just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
You know, just take
Mhm.
it as it comes.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you could have, we just finished talking about lunch. If you could have lunch or dinner and mojitos and wine
Ooh.
with any 4 women in the world, who would it be and why?
Okay, it would have to be. Well, I'm gonna cheat. So I would want to have lunch with Michelle Obama,
Mm-hmm.
but I would need my mom, my sister, Amanda, and Amina.
Oh gosh.
So
That's
I
5.
want us. I know, but I cheated.
Yeah.
I want us to be at lunch
Actually,
with
that's
Michelle.
6,
'Cause
including you.
me.
Yeah.
So I would love to have lunch with her,
Yeah.
but with my closest.
Mm-hmm.
Having lunch with her by myself would be great, but I want my loved
Yeah.
ones to experience that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it would be all of us.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for carving out some moments of your time. Now you can get back to Zay, because apparently Zay was asking, like, who are you going to talk to,
Mhm.
and what are y'all going to talk about?
I said it's an interview. She's like, yeah, but with who? And I was like, Tanya, do I know her? No, baby, you don't. And then I was going to go into the whole, her husband took our family photographs,
Yeah.
but then the last time Sherrod came to our photographs, she stripped and she was over everything. So I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, ask him about her.
Oh my goodness, what?
She took off her dress. She did not want it, and she stepped out of it, and she took off. Yeah.
This is family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you definitely
like,
can't.
You cannot make it up.
You definitely can't.
Thank you for sitting on the couch.
Thank you for having me.
This episode will be live in April,
Perfect.
and we will have a watch party.
And it wasn't as scary as I thought
And
it
it
was going to be.
wasn't as scary. It was just a conversation.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
we were at the food store and we saw each other and like, oh my God, we're catching
With the
up.
really nice couches and
Yeah,
fabric.
lots of colors and fabric and prints. And,
Good stuff.
good stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right. Tune in to this episode sooner than later. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bam! Back to you in the studio.
Hey guys, you've made it to the end of our video. If you'd like to reach out, email us at letschat@tanyawilliamslightborn.com. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe for more exciting sessions. Cheers!